The entire Britain was left in shock when surprising photos of Lady Louise surfaced online. The photos showed the young royal in what seemed like an intimate moment with a young man only few people could recognize. As the photos gathered attention, media outlets and close friends suggest that this man, revealed as Felix, might be more than just a friend, and even with rumors of a supposed private engagement. This has left royal watchers curious, questioning what this could mean for the future of the monarchy. Who is Felix, and why is the relationship making headlines? Join us as we uncover the full truth. Love in St. Andrews. Shortly after Lady Louise's arrival at St. Andrews University, rumors began circulating online. Some tabloids suggested that Louise had become close to someone named Felix. It was through the Equestrian Society that she met Felix. Felix's surname, which used to be private, was later revealed as Silvaclamp, and little is publicly known about his family background. Their first encounters were casual. They spoke about horses, shared tips on riding, and helped each other during equestrian events. Over time, their friendship deepened. They began to study together, walking the campus and sharing notes. Their conversations grew longer and more personal. Classmates noticed that Louise seemed at ease around him. Felix respected her privacy. He never flaunted her royal status. Instead, he treated her as a fellow student with ambitions and interests of her own. This approach allowed a natural connection to form. Felix also attended carriage driving events, which remain one of Louise's favorite pursuits. Unlike many spectators, he never sought attention. He would quietly stand at the edge of the field, applauding her efforts with sincerity. Classmates described his presence as loyalty without spectacle. There were no loud cheers, no headlines, only steady support. This quiet dedication reminded some observers of the devotion Queen Elizabeth II valued in Prince Philip. Philip had always been a supportive figure, often working behind the scenes to encourage and protect those he loved. Felix's demeanor seemed to echo that same kind of understated loyalty. The bond between Louise and Felix grew stronger as the months passed. She had experienced public life from an early age, yet she had never formed such a private, grounded connection with someone outside her family. Louise's connection to her grandfather, Prince Philip, remained an important part of her life during this period. She had a deep respect and affection for him. In 2021, at his emotional memorial service, she drove his carriage herself, a moment witnessed by family and close friends. This act was a sign of her personal bond with Philip, reflecting both skill and courage. It also showed the influence of his legacy on her. Observers have noted that this quiet determination, whether in carriage driving or in life, runs in the family. Felix's steady support seemed to complement this side of Louise perfectly. Felix's humility and loyalty mirrored some of the values Louise had observed in her family. Prince Philip, for example, had always emphasized duty, respect, and quiet devotion. He had supported Elizabeth in ways that were steadfast and understated, never seeking the spotlight. Similarly, Felix's demeanor was consistent, patient, and respectful. These traits created a sense of safety and normalcy for Louise. She could be herself without pressure or expectation. Observers have also highlighted Felix's understanding of Louise's unique position. He recognized the complexities of being a member of the royal family, yet he never tried to minimize or exaggerate her world.
Precisely.
Yes. And I think having those times together in the summer allows those relationships. I mean, we're a lot more fortunate because
He treated it with respect while still engaging with her as an equal. St. Andrews, with its historic halls and quiet streets, became the backdrop for this formative period. This is the same historic university where Prince William graduated from in 2005 with an upper second class in geography and met his now wife, Catherine Middleton, the Duchess of Cambridge, many years ago. There were no royal escorts, no press surrounding her arrival. She moved into student halls like any other first-year student and walked the streets of the town without attracting attention. That was the life she wanted, a life that was as normal as her royal heritage would allow. Louise's choice reflected the values her parents, Prince Edward and Sophie, Duchess of Edinburgh, had long instilled in her. Her childhood at Bagshot Park had been private. Her parents had deliberately avoided the public attention that often comes with royalty. At St. Andrews, she continued this approach, living like any other student and prioritizing her studies, friendships, and personal growth over public scrutiny. She is described by those who knew her as polite, grounded, and committed to her personal and academic growth. She had reportedly joined the St. Andrews University Officers Training Corps, where she has received basic weapons training, leadership lessons, and a course in navigating tough terrain under pressure. But it doesn't end here. What we are about to reveal about a supposed engagement to Felix will leave you shocked. An authentic royal romance. A love versus duty dilemma in the Windsor family has been passed down for decades. King Edward VIII in 1936 abdicated the throne to marry Wallis Simpson, an American divorcee. He placed love over royal duty. One of the few times such a personal desire had pitted against the responsibilities of royalty sent shockwaves through the monarchy. Later, similar pressure was focused on the love that bonded Princess Diana and Prince Charles. Starting with romance, the couple faced struggles under the microscope of public scrutiny and British royal expectations. The world watched closely as their marriage struggled. Love and duty often did not coincide within the Windsor family. Oftentimes, private struggles were magnified with public attention. The parents of Lady Louise, Edward and Sophie, have quietly rewritten the story. Their marriage of more than a quarter of a century stands out as one of the more stable in the modern royal family. They've kept things very private and discreet, far from the public eye. Intimate, their 1999 wedding in St. George's Chapel at Windsor Castle was a celebration of mutual respect rather than a day of British pomp. Guests noted the understated elegance of the day. A partnership rooted in shared values, not in public display, was what that ceremony spoke of. Louise has grown up in a union that has taught her the values of stability, respect, and authenticity from Edward and Sophie's method of approaching marriage. Unlike some of her predecessors, her parents have balanced duty with personal happiness. Their marriage has proved that royal life does not have to come at the cost of private fulfillment. It shows that love and duty can coexist quietly, without headlines. It is within these values that Lady Louise's rumored relationship with Felix has gained attention. Though the details remain discreet, sources describe their connection as private, genuine, and rooted in friendship. On 30th August, Felix was present to support her in the National Carriage Driving Championships at the Ashfields Carriage and Polo Club in Great Canfield, Essex. According to one onlooker, Felix supported Lady Louise
every day, and I do not know how he managed to do that. But he would also tell me all sorts of anecdotes.
Cheering and clapping from the sidelines. The timing and nature of these appearances have sparked discussions among royal observers. In marked contrast to high-profile engagements, which are accompanied by press announcements and fanfare, this potential union appears unhurried. Sources suggest the couple values a slow, deliberate path. Their connection is described as grounded in friendship and mutual understanding, rather than the demands of tradition or public expectation. Friends of the couple say Felix's qualities are particularly important in this context. He is reportedly discreet, humble, and supportive. He engages with the Windsor family without overstepping boundaries. At carriage driving events, for example, he attends quietly, applauding from the sidelines rather than seeking attention. He reportedly blends into the family gatherings, observing traditions respectfully while connecting naturally with Louise. Such actions echo the Windsor family's preference for understated loyalty. Analysts of royal history see this as a modern approach to monarchy and romance. Previous generations often faced a choice between personal desire and royal duty. Edward VIII chose love but gave up the crown. Diana's marriage struggled under the weight of expectation. In contrast, Lady Louise seems to be navigating a path that balances both. She remains a member of the royal family, yet she maintains privacy. She nurtures a personal relationship without public pressure. Lady Louise, like her parents, has been guided by values rather than spectacle. Her upbringing emphasized discretion, responsibility, and integrity. She has learned from Edward and Sophie that public life can coexist with private happiness. Historically, royal engagements and marriages were often political or highly publicized affairs. Today, Lady Louise's rumored relationship offers a modern alternative. It emphasizes trust, friendship, and authenticity. The couple's connection reflects a blend of tradition and contemporary values. They honor family heritage while also carving out a personal space that is free from constant scrutiny. Authentic romance may become a template for younger royals. The same spirit of authenticity has once appeared in the Windsor family. In 2011, Princess Anne's daughter, Zara Phillips, married the former rugby player Mike Tindall in a small and intimate ceremony at Canongate Kirk in Edinburgh. There was no televised spectacle, no global countdown, only close family and friends. Yet, it became one of the most admired royal weddings because of their sincerity. That it was a reflection of the monarchy that valued love above pageantry. And in many ways, the rumored relationship of Lady Louise with Felix has precisely followed a similar path. A union not defined by the title of royalty, but by quiet connection. Keep watching as we reveal the real identity of Felix de Silvaclamp, Lady Louise's rumored fiancé. Felix, the modern gentleman and the legacy of authenticity. The British press has tried to uncover more about Felix. His background remains private, but speculation continues. However, it is reported by a publication that Felix Silvaclamp was born in 2004 in London, to politician Jonathan Clamp and mental health professional Kendall Clamp. Some reports suggest he may come from an old Scottish landed family. He grew up in Melbourne, Australia, and is said to juggle his studies with a part-time job at a local ice cream parlor. He and Louise also share a love for theater, as they are both seen in their school's student production of Dragon Fever. He is known to be calm, intelligent, and grounded. He prefers quieter hobbies. While many students spend their evenings in bars or nightclubs, he would rather repair a bridle or spend time outdoors than attend loud parties. Those who have met him describe him as being a bookworm, yet charming. His interests reflect a lifestyle that values simplicity and purpose. At the University of St. Andrews, Felix reportedly studies environmental sciences. His academic interests align with modern concerns about the planet and sustainability. Friends say he often speaks about conservation and climate issues. He's also said to volunteer with local conservation groups in Scotland. His study interest focuses on restoring habitats and promoting responsible land use. His values reflect responsibility and care for the environment, rather than the pursuit of social status. This makes Felix part of a new generation of Britain's upper class rooted not in privilege, but in stewardship. It is a quiet kind of influence, built on substance and service. For Lady Louise, who has grown up surrounded by both tradition and expectation, Felix's outlook seems to fit naturally. Known always to show preference for calm, sincerity, and authenticity, people close to them note that their bond feels more like a partnership than a public romance. If at last Lady Louise and Felix get to marry, it is going to symbolize something meaningful. It would reflect a shift in the monarchy's values toward normalcy over nobility and connection over convention. Their story, if true, represents a modern kind of royal romance, one shaped by personal choice and genuine understanding, and not just traditions alone. This idea also aligns with King Charles III's vision for the future of the monarchy. The king has spoken about a slimmed-down royal family, one that feels closer to the people and more focused on authenticity. Whether the engagement rumors are real or only speculation, one truth remains clear. Lady Louise Windsor deserves a love story that belongs entirely to her. A union between them would quietly embody this vision. It would be a story of grounded love, not grandeur. A story free from pressure and publicity. A story built on respect, understanding, and shared values. And in Felix, the quiet, thoughtful young man beside her, many believe she may have already found exactly that. It has always mattered whom a royal marries. Marriage in the British monarchy is never less than symbolic, a reflection of values and tradition, and in which direction the family is going. For centuries, marriage within royals has affected how the monarchy was perceived by the public and the world. Marriage was a matter of duty for earlier generations. Royals were supposed to marry within aristocratic circles to protect lineage, status, and political alliances. Feelings and personal choice often came second. This pattern had already been shaped, at least in part, by Queen Victoria's marriage to Prince Albert in 1840. Though their partnership had its origins in affection, it had also represented a union of royal houses. All that changed, however, when King Edward VIII decided to marry Wallis Simpson. Putting love over duty brought about a constitutional crisis that showed the entire nation how royal marriages could affect not just family life, but the entire nation. It is still the most dramatic event in the annals of the history of the royal family. Since that time, every relationship amongst them has come under close scrutiny, with people wondering whether it's a question of love or duty each time. Another example might be the wedding of Prince Charles and Lady Diana Spencer in 1981, billed as one of the most watched weddings in history. But behind the grandeur, the relationship struggled. Their eventual separation and Diana's tragic death brought painful lessons on the pressures of royal life. The world saw just how much scrutiny and expectation could affect a marriage. In that sense, modern royals like Prince William and Prince Harry have tried to break the mold of this convention. When William married Catherine Middleton in 2011, this was very much a new beginning. Catherine came from a non-aristocratic family background, and by all accounts, she was quite warm and welcoming to the public. Their relationship proved that love and compatibility had more bearing on marital suitability than titles. And this made the monarchy feel more human, more relatable. The highly publicized marriage of Prince Harry to American actress Meghan Markle in 2018 as the first member of a racial minority ever married into the British royal family continues the conversation. Their marriage drew enormous media attention and continues to highlight the tension when private life collides with public duty. This long history explains why Lady Louise's rumored romance with Felix draws interest. People are curious because royal marriages often signal which way the family is going. Who a royal marries can help determine how the monarchy connects with modern society. A marriage based on authenticity and equality might inspire trust and admiration by the public. In what way did Felix propose? And what does engagements look like for the royal family? Keep watching to find out. Royal engagements. Royal engagements within the British monarchy are not solely personal moments, but equally public events, full of history, tradition, and expectation. From the moment of proposal to the official declaration, each move is done traditionally, though modern royals now make their own personal touches on such events. The proposal is a private affair and normally requires the permission of the monarch for heirs close to the throne under the Royal Marriages Act, now modified by the Succession to the Crown Act 2013. The engagement ring often used is one that has a historical symbol. Just like in William's proposal to Catherine, he used a ring from his late mother, Diana. He had expressed that the ring was a way of stamping his mother's presence in all he was doing, and he didn't want her to miss out on anything. Prince Harry followed a similar route, proposing to Meghan Markle with a ring from one of Diana's collections. If the proposal is accepted by the royal family, the palace will then issue an official statement to the general public, notifying them of the newly engaged royals. The day of announcement usually brings a wave of delight to the public, with news coverage all over the world. It is a new chapter in royal history. The statement often contains information on where the proposal took place and where the wedding will then happen. Then, in 2017, when Harry and Markle got engaged, the family released an official statement followed by a photo call and an interview at Kensington Palace. After the announcement, they will now begin to make public appearances as a couple, from attending events, meeting the public, and jointly representing the royal family wherever they go. This makes the public view them as a single entity and set the foundation of a familiar relationship with the people in their marriage. Prince William and Catherine had their first outing to Wales after the engagement, and Meghan and Harry traveled to Nottingham. Such appearances ensure connections with people and the media before the wedding. A royal wedding has to be planned by balancing personal wishes with tradition. Traditional venues include Westminster Abbey, St. George's Chapel, and smaller chapels within the grounds of royal estates. Royal engagements always draw attention from all over the world as they merge history, emotion, and pride for one nation. They represent continuity and a reminder that the monarchy endures through generations and also shapes public opinion about the monarchy. A popular engagement, like William and Kate's, can lift national morale and reinforce the image of a modern, relatable royal family. However, the tone of engagements has shifted in recent years, and any engagement announcement by Lady Louise would surely follow this newer pattern, simple and more personal. But why is the royals' relationship stirring so much attention? The answer lies in what we're about to reveal next: who Lady Louise really is, and her role in the British royal family. Stay tuned. A childhood of privacy and resilience. On the 8th of November 2003, Lady Louise Mountbatten Windsor, during the reign of her paternal grandmother, Queen Elizabeth II, was born to Prince Edward and Sophie, the Duke and Duchess of Edinburgh, and is the eldest child. She is also known as the youngest niece of King Charles III. The situation surrounding her birth was not quite smooth. Due to a sudden placental abruption, her mother was rushed by ambulance to Frimley Park Hospital in Surrey, England, where baby Louise was born 4 weeks early. Both mother and child had lost blood severely. On being weighed at the hospital, she weighed just 4 pounds, 9 ounces. Because of her critical condition, she was immediately transferred to a neonatal unit at St. George's Hospital in London, while her mother remained at Frimley Park for further care and treatment. Her father, Prince Edward, Duke of Edinburgh, then Earl of Wessex, was on official duty abroad and was not present at the birth. On his return, her name, Louise Alice Elizabeth Mary, was announced on the 26th of November. She was baptized in the private chapel of Windsor Castle the next year and would be the last child to wear the original royal christening gown. From that very challenging start, Louise's life had an unusual blend of fragility and strength. Her parents, Edward and Sophie, Duchess of Edinburgh, saw not just a royal child but a little girl who would need care, nurturing, and, above all, a sense of normalcy. This resulted in them making a decision that their children would not carry the typical princess style with the automatic duty-bound life that often comes with it. The palace announced that their children would be styled simply as children of an earl, not as His or Her Royal Highness princes or princesses. In short, Louise would be known as Lady Louise, not Princess Louise. Notwithstanding, she remains the 17th in line to the throne and occupies a unique position in the royal family. Her position gives her both connection and freedom. She represents the monarchy, but lives without the constant spotlight faced by senior royals, balancing royal heritage with an ordinary life, attending university, studying, and forming friendships like any other young woman. This quiet dignity and composure have earned her admiration. This gave her a shrink-wrapped version of royalty. That choice was a deliberate one that allowed school runs, part-time jobs, and quiet weekends, rather than constant, high-profile engagements. Keep watching. When she grew up at the family home at Bagshot Park in Surrey, this ethos played out in living color. Bagshot Park became the setting for a childhood that was privately secure and outwardly ordinary, but just as ordinary as royal lineage allows. In interviews, her mother recalled how even the neonatal scare left its mark. She had said that her daughter, Louise, was born prematurely, and every time she sees anything to do with premature babies, it takes her back to those early days. Despite the royal backdrop, Louise's early years were more grounded than many might assume. She attended local schooling, spent time with friends, and was encouraged to grow, not simply as a titled member of a royal family, but as a young woman with her own choices. Issues of health surfaced early too. Her premature birth came with complications, including an eye condition known as esotropia, a condition in which one or both eyes turn inward, towards the nose, leading to her getting a surgery. The first attempt in 2006 was unsuccessful, but later in 2013, she was able to get further treatment that finally corrected her eyes. Parallel to this private upbringing was a strong sense of tradition and legacy. the kind that embraces responsibility and heritage without flaunting or unnecessary displays. A key figure in this story is Louise's grandfather, Prince Philip, Duke of Edinburgh. He was an avid carriage driver, bringing the sport into the royal sphere in a way that few anticipated. Later, it became one of the clearest expressions of any link between Louise's childhood and her emerging identity. Louise inherited a love of history and theater from her parents, but carriage driving? That came from her grandfather. By her teens, she was competing in carriage driving events, sometimes using the very four-wheeled carriage once owned by Prince Philip at the annual Royal Windsor Horse Show. At the Royal Windsor Horse Show in 2017, for instance, she was responsible for leading the carriages of the Champagne-Laurent-Perrier meet of the British Driving Society. And in 2019, Philip watched Louise secure third place in a private driving singles category at the event. It was indeed a proud moment for Louise and her grandfather. The sport is one that suits her because of its blend of discipline and independence. She had to steer the horses, guide the carriage over obstacles, and make split-second decisions. Soon, the carriage and ponies that once belonged to her grandfather were passed to her after his death in 2021. This vintage carriage driving legacy spoke volumes about the values her family wanted to instill, from a fragile early start in life to confidently guiding a carriage through a course. At the same time, her everyday life continued. School mornings, friendships, perhaps an odd school presentation, and the desire by her parents that she do some form of work, so she understood how life outside the palace walls worked. Louise embraced that, too. The relationship with Felix, though discreet, has marked an important chapter in her life. It combines her personal growth with meaningful companionship and reflects the values instilled in her by her family: courage, humility, and dedication. This has allowed her to explore life way beyond titles and palace walls. What do you think about Lady Louise's relationship? Do you think an engagement could happen soon? Let us know what you think in the comments section below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Also, click the next video shown on your screen. You'll enjoy it.